questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank all of you for being here. This is extremely important. This is an issue that all of us are concerned about. I have the honor and privilege of representing the entire coast of Georgia, over 100 miles of pristine coastline. I'm very proud of that, as you can tell, and love the environment, want to protect our environment. It's very important. But, you know, I always feel like and I've been very involved in environmental issues, obviously, as I should, representing the entire coast of Georgia. But I've always felt like we've not gotten the credit here in the United States that we deserve in decreasing our greenhouse gases and decreasing our carbon emissions. We have decreased our carbon emissions more in the last decade than the next 12 countries combined. While growing our economy, it can be done. I've always said the greatest scientists, the greatest innovators are right here in the United States of America. That's why we got to get out of the way and let them do their job. They've proven they can do it. They've proven if we get out of the way, we being the federal government, and let them do their job, that they can innovate and that they can decrease carbon emissions, and they will do that. I have been on the petroleum, on the fossil fuels. I've been on their back telling them, you need to take more credit for the progress that you've made, and I feel like they do. They've made good progress. I've served on the Select Committee on Climate Change and on the Conservative Climate Caucus, had the opportunity to travel to Europe, and I saw mistakes that they made in Europe. They have allowed their policies to get ahead of their innovation, and it's caused them to have to backtrack. And I think that's an important lesson we can learn here in America, not to let that happen. This rush to green that we're having, we all want clean energy. And that's very important, but this rush to green is going to bankrupt us for one thing, and it's also going to cause us to have to backtrack like they have in Europe, where they're now going back to coal-powered plants because they've already closed some of their nuclear plants because they've let their policies get ahead of their innovation. So I hope that's an important lesson that we can learn. Ms. Eversole, I want to ask you, you know, obviously you've heard from me, you've heard from everyone up here, at least on this side of the aisle, that our fossil fuel industry has allowed us to be a leader in emission reductions while growing our economy. Is it true that natural gas is responsible for 58% of the U.S. greenhouse gas emission reductions?
Congressman, thank you for your question. I grew up in Georgia and spent a lot of time in the summer down in your district. It's a beautiful place, and appreciate your leadership. Look, I also just want to remind us the problem that we're trying to solve, right? Very frequently, the debate gets around this false choice of either or. Either we can be cleaner or we can continue down a path of using fossil fuels. This industry has proven that we can do both. And so if what the problem we're trying to solve is that we're trying to maximize the reduction of emissions from our atmosphere for the minimum cost to society, I think everybody in this room can agree on that. If, on the other hand, the problem that we're trying to solve is pick winners and losers among sources of fuel, obviously that's going to create a problem. So this industry has demonstrated that we can continue to do both, and we look forward to doing so.
But specifically on natural gas, because I'm a big proponent of natural gas here in America. It's cleaner than the natural gas coming out of Russia. It's cleaner than anywhere else in the world. And how can we duplicate that? How can we replicate that, if you will, globally?
Yeah, the innovative spirit of this industry is really is something that is the envy of the world. Look no further than what we've done in helping our allies in Europe in delivering LNG at a time when they had to completely reroute the global supply chain, because American gas, in our view, is a whole lot better than gas from Russia.
Absolutely, couldn't agree. Mr. Mills, let me go to you real quick, because nuclear is a big part of our energy portfolio in Georgia. As you know, I'm sure, we just started up the reactor number 3 at Plant Vogtle in Georgia, and reactor number 4 will start hopefully the first quarter of next year. And I have Plant Hatch in my district that has been in operation since 1975. What role can nuclear play in meeting future energy demands?
Certainly a very significant one, and I think the key here is to get realistic about doing what France is doing and Finland and now Sweden, which is to accelerate the regulatory structure permitting the construction of what we already know how to build, which are the classic nuclear power plants like Vogtle. Time matters in those, and then simultaneously accelerate programs that can bring next generation smaller nuclear plants online.
How can we get away from the negative connotations, if you will, of nuclear. It's baseload clean energy. We need to be using more of it.
That's certainly a subject that will take more than one hearing to address.
Good. Thank you all for being here, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back.